Okay, so Kal Kadosh, we're going to start. This is Kav Gimel Amud Aleph, 23A1. This is the daf of today. And we're going to start as follows. This is, technically we are already on the two dots where it says Amar Rav Sheshet. But we'll just start from the beginning just quickly to do a chazara. We wanted to bring a proof whether you are allowed to light from one candle to another candle. So we brought a proof from Tashemad Amim Meshub Levi, says Meshub Levi, Ashashit, that's the first word on Kav Gimel Amud Aleph. Ashashit, which is basically when you have a candle inside of a kli zechuchit, inside of a glass utensil, which means it was lit entire Shabbat. So for example, let's say I came on Erev Shabbat and I lit a Chanukiah inside of a glass container. I lit the Chanukiah. Now what happens is that when I lit this Chanukiah, I lit it and I put so much oil, it went from Erev Shabbat until Motzei Shabbat. So it says Motzei Shabbat mechabba, I'm going to turn it off. Umaliken, I'm going to light it again. Says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me that laka is what does the mitzvah, so then it's going to be okay. Why? You turned it off, lit it again, the new lighting is the new mitzvah, gamanu. But if you're going to tell me anacha was a mitzvah, that it's the anacha, the placing of it is the entire mitzvah. What does it mean, mechabba umalika, that I just turned it off and then I lit it? I should have turned it off, picked it up, put it back on, and then I should have lit it. So this is a proof that the halakah is a mitzvah, which means that the lighting does the mitzvah. Okay, and furthermore, from the fact that we make the bracha lahalik ner shel Chanukah, we see lehalik. So obviously the mitzvah is halakah is a mitzvah shmamina. So it teaches us that the halakah is what does the mitzvah, the actual lighting of the candles. So says the Gemara, now that we say that the halakha is a mitzvah, if a deaf mute or a person that's not 100% there, or a katan, a minor comes and he lights a chanukiah, lo asa velo klum. What does that mean, lo asa velo klum? He didn't do anything. Why didn't he do anything? He says because at the end of the day, they were the ones that had to do it, and therefore it's as if that they didn't do anything in such a case. Isha badai malika. However, though a woman for sure could do the lakat ner chanukah, says Rabbi Yishua ben Levi, nashim chayvo bener chanukah. A woman is obligated in nerot chanukah. Why? Because they were also part of the miracle. Okay, so this is where we finished off yesterday. And yesterday's daf, we're on the two dots. Okay, Amar Rav Sheshet. So says the Gemara. Amar Rav Sheshet, says Rav Sheshet, achsenai chayav bener chanukah. An achsenai, which is basically a guest, is obligated in ner chanukah. So says the Gemara, right? If you're going to tell me this, let's try to find out what's going on. Amar Rabbi Zera, says Rabbi Zera, meresh ki avina berav. At the beginning, when I was in the yeshiva and I used to be a guest in other people's houses in order to learn Torah, I used to be mishtatef beprite. Mishtatef beprite means I used to give them a little bit of money, and now I'm mishtatef. I have like a partnership, right, with my ushpiza, with my guest. But once I got married, Amina, I said to myself, for sure now I don't need to come and purchase the oil anymore. Okay, why? Because at the end of the day, my wife is lighting for me in her house. Which means, remember that in the olden days, people used to go out, even when they were married, they used to still go out to yeshiva and used to stay there for weeks and sometimes months, and then they come home. Yeah, so therefore what happened was, he said when he was a bachur, so when he used to go to other people's houses in order to learn Torah, so he was in a certain yeshiva. Remember, there was no dormitories. The majority of the people, there was no such thing as a dorm. So since there was no dorm, they used to sleep in people's houses in the city. That's how they used to survive. So therefore he says, so what happened was, is he says he used to give prute, he used to give a pruta to the, like a coin, he used to give anything to the owners of the house. And that's how he used to be, it's the chovah, the mitzvah, the lakan chanukah. But he says, but what happened was that once he got married, and now he says, for sure, my wife is lighting for me in my house. Once my wife is lighting for me in my house, I don't have to do that anymore. So Amar Rabbi Yishua ben Levi says, Rabbi Yishua ben Levi, kol hashemanim yafin lener, right? We're on the two dots, right? So we're going back to the concept of the shemen, the oils which are fitting for the chanukiah. And it says all the shemen, all the types of oils are going to be good for ner chanukah. However, though shemen zayit mina muvchar, the shemen zayit is mina muvchar, right, for the nerot chanukah. Okay? So Amar Abaye says, at the beginning, Rabbi Bar Nachmani, he used to come and he used to look for shemen shum shemin, sunflower seed oil. Amar, but he used to say, Hai mashach no ratfe, but it was even better, right? It used to take a long time, even better than the shemen zayit. Given the Shema but once he saw the Shema Levi that says no, that shemen zayit is mina muvchar. Hadam mishchad zayit, I used to look for shemen zayit. Amar, but he says, Hai tzalim no ratfe, because the oro is more tzalul, it's a clearer light, which means the other one was, mashach no ratfe means is that it used to take longer to burn, meaning it used to burn for a longer period of time. So sunflower seed oil does make it that it burns a longer period of time. However, though, the olive oil makes a clearer fire. So therefore, it was better to get a clearer fire. By the way, you should learn from here the entire concept that quality is always better than quantity. Because here the quantity is the shemen shum shemin, all the sunflower oil. And the quality is the olive oil. And the quality overtakes the quantity. Okay, we've seen that a lot of times in Musad and everything else, but this is important just so you could see it from here as well. I'm going to do Shom Levi, it says Shom Levi, Kol shemanim yafil lidyo. All the shemanim, any type of oil is also good in order to make the black ink for Kitvei HaKodesh, which means when they used to make the ink, part of making the ink, they used to add oil. So any type of oil was good. The shemen zayit mina muvchar. But again, olive oil is always going to be mina muvchar, is always going to be the best of it. So now they ask the question in the Bet HaMidrash, legabel or leashen? Do we say that the reason why the shemen zayit, the olive oil, is good in making ink is in order to mix it, right? Le'arvev bo et hapiach, or leashen bo et hakli zechuchit kidei litzur et hapiach, or to smoke the zechuchit, to smoke the glass utensils in order that it should be able to be worked well. Here it says that when you used to make the dio, the ink black, it says they used to light a ner, a candle with shemen, underneath the kli zechuchit, underneath the glass utensil, until the kli zechuchit used to become black because of the ashan. So it means underneath the glass, they used to put a candle. The glass used to become black because of the smoke. And now this piach, which was in the dofnei kli, they used to come in and they used to scrape it off, right? And they used to mix it with a little bit of oil. And then it used to become the tarovet, used to become the dio, that used to become the ink. So since this shemen, there was oil used in two different steps of the process. The first process was in the candle below the glass utensil in order to make the glass utensil black. And the second one was that afterwards they used to put a little bit of oil on top of this, in this glass utensil, in order to take out all that black that was in the glass utensil, and then they used to mix it with the ink. So which one was best for the olive oil? The one of the candle below the glass utensil in order to make it black, or the oil to take off the black from the glass utensil to scrape it off in order to mix it and to make it. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Let me just see if I have a picture of this. No. Okay. So it says over here as follows. It says, we're on Kaf Gimel. No. Okay, fine. So it says over here like this. It says, Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. The Tani of Shmuel Bar Zutre, the daughter of Shmuel Bar Zutre, yeah, Matni, right, he says like this. Kol shemanim yafil lidio, v'shemen zayit mina muvchar kedei legabe ben lashen. So he actually taught it mefurash in the Braita that shemen zayit is mina muvchar, which means shemen zayit is better for both. For both means it doesn't matter whether it's going to be legabe or lashen. The shemen zayit, the olive oil, always has a much better precedence. It's always much better in that sense. Shmuel Bar Zutre matni hachi. Shmuel Bar Zutre used to taught it this way. Kol shanim yafil lidio, right? All the different types of ashan is good for the dio. However, though this one, it says that according to this Braita, the girsa was that shemen zayit is only good for the lashen in order to make it black, right? In order to make it, but not legabel. That any type of oil could be used well. So basically, it comes out that there are two different girsaot in the Braita. The first girsa of the Braita was ben legabel ben lashen, which means that the olive oil is good for both of them, whether it was for the candle on the bottom to make the glass utensil into black, or the oil in order to take off the black inside a glass utensil to mix it up. However, though, according to the second Braita, Shmuel Bar Zutra, it was no, that it was only for the oil in the candle below, but not for the oil on the top, in order to take off the black from the glass utensil, that any type of oil is okay. Samar Rav Huna, kol hasrafin yafin lidio, usraf kataf yafim mikulam. Any type of the srafim, here Rashi says that sraf is a guma. How do you say that in English? Asrafim? No? Doesn't say anything in English?
Gum is the best of all.
Gum. Okay. So this is gum. Usually the gum used to come from a tree, no? It doesn't explain. Yeah, it comes from a tree. That's what it says here. The gum that comes from the lafruchita notefe minaetz. Okay. It comes from the tree. So any type of a sraf is good for ink, but sraf kataf was the best of it. So sraf kataf must be from a type of a tree also. Okay. Fine. Next. Amar Rochia Barashi Marav. Says Rochia Barashi in the name of Rav. Hamalik ner shel Chanukah tzarich levarech. When you're going to light the Chanukiah, you have to make a bracha. Rav Yirmiyah Amar, Rav Yirmiyah says, Haro'eh ner shel Chanukah tzarich levarech. When you see the candle of the Chanukah, you're going to make a bracha. So Amar Rav Yehuda comes and he says, Yom Rishon, the first day, Haro'eh mevarech shtayim. If you are the one that sees it, which means you weren't able to light the Chanukiah and you could only see it, you make two brachot. The bracha shasani sim and shechianu. You can't make a bracha lalik because you didn't like the Chanukiah. Madlik, but if you like the Chanukiah, you're going to make three brachot. Lalik ner shel Chanukah, right? Shasani sim and shechianu. Mikam va'elach. From then onwards, madlik mevarech shtayim. The one that's lighting the candles is going to make two brachot. Varoeh mevarech echad, and the one that's seeing it is going to make one bracha. My memaet, right? When you're going to come and you're going to light the ner Chanukah on the other days, which of the three do you take off? Because it says, Mikam va'elach, from then onwards, you're only going to make two, and the roeh is only going to make one. Which one do you take out? Obviously, Zman. You're going to take away Zman, which is Shechianu Mikam Zman, because obviously it's not anything new anymore. So ask the Gemara, the Dimot Nes. Why don't you take out the one of Shasani Sin Lavotenu? Because the miracle is if to say, you already had it in the first beracha. Okay, so he says, no, Nes kol Yom Eita. Every single day of Chanukah was a new nes. So therefore, you're not going to take away the nes, but the zman, you're going to take it away. Okay? My mevarech, what beracha do you make a beracha? So he says like this, what beracha do you make? He says the beracha that you make is, right, as follows. The beracha that you make is, my mevarech, asher kishay mitzvah b'tzivanu, le'alik ner shel Chanukah. You're going to make the beracha le'alik ner shel Chanukah. By the way, you should know the girsa of the Gemara was shel, the lelikna shel Chanukah, the reef and the rosh have the girsa here in the Gemara, also shasanisim and also shechianu. They actually added it in. But nobody else speaks about the shell or not the shell. Okay, fine. No, but it's also brought down in a lot of Rishonim because that was the girsa of the Gemara. Even though in Pia Kabbalah you take out the word shell, so even in Morocco, there were two different minhagim. One minhag was to say lalik ner shel Chanukah, like I think if I remember correctly, I think it was Rambam and others as well. And other people's did according to the Kabbalah and lalik ner Chanukah, and that's it without the shell. So even in that, it was because there's a name that comes out of the Reshet Tevot and everything. Ner, right? Lalik ner Chanukah, right? Or lalik ner shel Chanukah. There was a name over there. Fine. So then it says like this, okay, in the first letters. Veheichan tzivanu. So the Gemara asks, how can you come and say v'tzivanu? And how does it work to say v'tzivanu? How do you say v'tzivanu? You weren't commanded in the Torah. So it says the Gemara, yes, you were. Why? Rav Yamar says, lo tasur, right? Lo tasur she'yegidu lecha yaminim small, which means you're not allowed to go away from that which the rabbis taught you from the right to the left. And therefore, we have a mitzvah to listen to the rabbis. So therefore, you're allowed to make the beracha, shekid shalom mitzvotav v'tzivanu, that they commanded us. Why? Even though we weren't commanded so in the Torah, but we were commanded in the Torah to follow the rabbis. The rabbis were the ones that gave us the halacha of the mitzvah of lighting the Chanukiah, the Ner Chanukah, so that's it. Rav Nechemia comes and he says a different pasuk, She'al avicha v'yagedcha zekenecha v'yom lulach. You have to ask your fathers and they will tell you, your elders and they will also tell you. And from there we have a mitzvah to listen to the elders. Okay? Fine. Mati Rav Amram is now going to come and he's going to ask a question from a Mishnah that it says over here that from as we just learned from here that you're supposed to make a bracha of v'tzivanu on any type of a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. So now he's going to ask, Mati Rav Amram comes and he asks from Mishnah Demai, Hademai. Remember, Demai means that you have produce that belongs to Namaaretz, and therefore we don't know if he took off Maasrot, Trumot or Maasrot or not. Me'arevimbo, you're allowed to do Eruvei Chatzerot with it, or Eruvei Tchumin, any type of an Eruv you could do with it. Mishtatfimbo, you could do Shituf Mavuot, which means I could connect with you, right, in a Mavui, in order to transport within the Mavui itself. Remember, the mavui, the chatzer, was inside the same courtyard. The mavui is inside the same like side street, like Abbott, where there's a closed off, okay, a one-way street. So it says not one-way street. Sorry, it's going to be completely closed. So it says umbarchim alav, okay, and you're going to also make a bracha on it. You could do zimum, which is bikat hamazon. Mafrishin oto arum, and you're even allowed to separate it when you're without clothing, because basically you don't make a bracha on it. Okay, uben hashmashot, okay, and also during ben hashmashot you're allowed to separate from it of the knisat Shabbat. So he says over here, okay, that's the Mishnah we're going to learn later on, but we actually say that during ben hashmashot, what do we say? We say erev Shabbat im chashecha yisarten eravten alikut enes. So yisarten is to take off maaseh. So that you're allowed to do ben hashmashot right? Erev Shabbat im chashecha. Im chashecha means during ben hashmashot. So says the Gemara. If you're going to tell me now that anything which is Rabbanan, you need a bracha, so how are you going to make a bracha if you're without clothing? One more time. We just said right now, mafrishinoto, right? Arom. You're allowed to separate it when you are without clothing. Now, how are you going to separate it without clothing? We said in the previous Braita in Rav Amram, you're allowed to separate it without clothing because you don't need to make a bracha. And here we're saying, one second, if it's Rabbanan, that by Demai you have to take off. Okay, we're on Kav Gimel Amud Aleph towards the middle. Okay, if it's going to be that you're going to have to take off, right? And you're going to take off Demai, you're going to separate Demai. Demai is Midrabanan, and you should make a bracha on it. So how could you make a bracha without clothing? You need that your camp should be holy, and you don't have it. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be holy, because you're without clothing. How are you going to make a bracha? You can't make a bracha. So says the Gemara, Abai says, for sure you have to make a bracha by midrabanan, just like by halakat and chanukah. Okay? Safek the divrehem by bracha, but here's a safek in divrehem, which means demai was not for sure. Demai is a safek. Because of the safek and the rabbanan, you don't have to make a bracha. If it was a safek and everything else, you would make a bracha. But if it's a safek and the rabbanan, that's why you don't need a bracha. So the Gemara asks, Yom Tov Sheni, the safek divremu uvay bracha. What about Yom Tov Sheni? Every single year, right? Every single Yom Tov, we have 2 days of Yom Tov. Whether it's Shavuot, whether it's Pesach, Sukkot, we do 2 days of Yom Tov. And we make brachot on the second day of Yom Tov. But that's a safek to divrehem. It's a safek because of the rabbis, which means that the rabbis were the ones that instituted a safek. It wasn't that the rabbis instituted a vadai. Ner Chanukah was a vadai. The rabbis instituted, they came, they said, you have to make a bracha, shekel shavim tzvanu lalik ner shel Chanukah. However, though here, it's a safek in the drabanan. So answers the Gemara, hatam kich delul zalzule no. Says, you know why you make a bracha on Yom Tov? They purposely instituted berachot in Yom Tov in order that you're not going to be mezalzel in Yom Tov Sheni. Why? Because by nature, people are mezalzel in Yom Tov Sheni. Even Bavonotenu Arabim until today, people on the second day of Yom Tov, you see it. Go to the Bet Knesiyot on the second day of Yom Tov, whether it's the second night or the second day, right? Half empty. Why? The people come first day of Yom Tov, everybody's there. Everybody comes, they come to complete, they come to be there, they're all there. Comes the second day of Yom Tov, boom, half of them are gone again. What happened? Again, because of Mizalzel. So the rabbis already saw that people were going to be Mizalzel, so they purposely instituted, even on a Safek, which is the Rabbanan, they purposely came and they instituted, right? What do you mean a Safek Rabbanan? Meaning the rabbis instituted it on the Safek, and still the rabbi said, you should make a bracha on the Safek. Okay, Rava comes, and he's going to answer the question of Rav Amram in a different light. And he says, no, Rova me'aretz masrinhen, and therefore it's only a chumrah, which means the majority of the me'aretzot also take off tumot u'masot. The only thing is, it's a chumrah that we come and we say that it's demai special halachot, so you should separate again. And since it's a chumrah, that's why you don't make it to make a bracha on it. Okay, with that we finish. Next, we're going back to the halachot of lighting of the Chanukiah. Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna comes and he says, this is the 2 dots, okay? It's a 2, 4, 6, 7 lines down. Amar Rav Huna, towards the end of the line. Amar Rav Huna says, Chatzer sheyesh la shne ptachim. When you have a chatzer that has 2 entrances. So it says, tzricha shte nerot. So you need 2 different candles. I'm going to take a picture so that way you guys could see it. Let me set this. Let me just show you the picture. So I'm going to share the screen. Here you go. This is what's called a chatzer sheyesh la bet ptachim. When you have a chatzer, you have two different entrances. One entrance is here on one side, okay, in one direction, and another entrance here in a different direction, okay? So this is another chatzer sheyesh la bet ptachim according to Shitat Rashi, which means you have an entrance of the chatzer and an entrance here, not of the chatzer, but of the house. But this is another explanation where you have in the actual chatzer in itself, an actual courtyard in itself. Okay, so let me just finish this. Okay, so says the Gemara, Chatzer sheyesh la shne ptachim, tzricha shte nedot. You need two different candles, right? And each one of the entrances. Amar Rava says, Lo amram mishte rucho, but that's only going to be if it's in two different directions. Like I showed you the picture. You had one, let's say, in the south and one in the north, or one in the east, or one in the west, meaning in two different directions. Okay, but if there are both two entrances in the same, let's say sometimes you have two entrances in the east, or two entrances in the south, or two entrances in the west, you do not need. My Tama says the Gemara, what's the reasoning? If you're going to tell me that I'm going to suspect, which means some people are going to say that's going to suspect that you're not going to light the candles, so chashadan neman, who are you suspecting exactly? Yeah, if it's going to be of the world, you should also suspect even if you have two in the same direction. Why? Because I'm going to think that there are two different entrances or two different houses, and if it's two different houses, one person is not lighting the Chanukiah. If you're going to tell me it's a chashad not of the world, but it's of the city, okay? So he says, so then in the city, they know that it all belongs to one. Meaning, if you're talking about outsiders, people that are coming from the outside, so therefore outside in the world, they don't know who owns what. So therefore, they're going to come, they're going to see one entrance here, one entrance here. They're both in the east, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to think, 1 second, I see a mezuzah, but nobody's lighting Chanukiah on this one, only on this one. That means obviously they're not lighting Chanukiah. That's crazy. What? Here in Miami, they don't light Chanukiot. That's what people are going to say. So, okay, fine. So that makes sense. So therefore, but if you're going to tell me now, therefore you should light even in the same direction, meaning the east-east. However, though, if you're going to tell me that the chashad is for the people of the city, so he says, 1 second, even if one is going to be east and one is going to be the west, I know the street, I live in the city, I know that this all belongs to the same conjunto, to the same house, like the same, the same building. So for obviously, I'm not going to suspect that they're not lighting Chanukiah, right? I know that they're lighting Chanukiah, but I know that it's the same entrance. So says the Gemara, Leolam Mishum Chashada Debnei Mata. Really, be'emet, it's only because of the same city. I'm not going to start suspecting people coming from the outside. It's only the same city. But sometimes people go only through one entrance. Meaning, I'm not going to go on the north side and the south side, or the north and the east, no, I only went through one side of your house. And then what happens? And they're going to say, just like they didn't light over here, they didn't light on the other side as well. Which means that people are going to start suspecting you of incorrectly, but at the end of the day, people are going to suspect, listen, you didn't light it here, so they didn't light it on the other side as well. Right? Again, there's a little bit of a chashad kshanim, a little bit, but again, they don't want you to come into chashad. Okay, so so how do we know that we suspect for chashad, that we suspect for this? The Tanya was learned in the right, Amar B'Shimon says B'Shimon, there are 4 reasons why the Torah told you that pe'ah has to be specifically at the end of your field, which means, technically speaking, the pe'ah, which means the corner, which you're giving to the aniyim, it says technically you could put it wherever you want. But there are 4 reasons why the Torah said specifically do it in the corner. He says, you know why? He says, number 1, right, mipnei gezel aniyim. Number 2, bitul aniyim. Number 3, mipnei achshad. And number 4, mishum bal techaleh. What does that mean? Mipnei gazel aniyim, because of the stealing of the aniyim. Shelo yireh bal habayit she'ah pnuya, yomar lekrovo ani harei zu pe'ah. Which means that he shouldn't find that sometimes there's not going to be any ani in your field, and all of a sudden you're going to come and you're going to tell to your family member that he's an ani, this is pe'ah. And therefore what? They wanted it, there should be no protectia. Everybody, all the aniim have the same benefits. And therefore, since it's in the corner, everyone knows exactly where it is. That's it. If not, because I could come outside, I could say, no, sorry, you anim, you can't take, this is not my peah. Where's your peah? I didn't decide it. I'll let you know in a few days. And all of a sudden, there's no anim around. I come, I tell a family member or somebody that I know, a good friend of mine that is an ani, come. This is the peah. So no, it's called gezel anim. You're stealing from the anim. In order to get out of that, it's always in the corner, and everyone knows. That's it. Next, okay. Bitul anim. What is the second reason? Because of bitul anim. We're on kaf gimel amud bet. Okay, what is mipnei bitul anim? Shelo yiyu aniyim yoshvim mishamnim. In order that they shouldn't cause damage to the other aniyim, right? Why? Because since they don't know when he's going to come and designate the field to become peah, they're going to be sitting there, right? And they're going to be waiting around until you're actually going to do so. So why? Because they're going to keep on saying, now he's going to do so. So in order that the aniyim could come and to know from the beginning, it's already going to be because of bitul aniyim. Because if not, they can't work. Imagine, already we want them to work in order to make a living. Imagine right now if they're going to have to be sitting around waiting for you because they keep on waiting for you to know when are you going to be matzeh, when are you going to do it. So they're going to be wasting more time. We don't want them to waste more time. That's called because of it's like bitul zman, the same concept. You're wasting the time of the aniyim. Tam shlishi, the third reason, shelo yu ovrim v'shavin omrim tavo me'era la'adam shulunech pe'ah besadeh. In order that people should not come, the people that are walking by and start cursing this person and saying that there should be a klala, curse on this person because he didn't leave any pe'ah in the sadeh. He didn't leave any pe'ah whatsoever in the field. So in order to get out of this curse, you always leave it on the corner. So everyone knows this is pe'ah. Number 4, right? So here, by the way, this is a proof that we do suspect for chashad. Okay? Because that's why, because the Torah told us to put the pe'ah on the side of the corner of the field in order to get out of chashad. Number 4, mishum bal techale. What does it mean bal techale? Right? He says, atu, right? Kulu lam mishum bal techalenu. He says what? All the reasons is because of bal techale. Bal techale means is that you always have to leave it on the dafka besofa katzin, right? Which means all of them were said in order to say, why does the Torah come and say it? In this pasuk, it's telling you to leave the pe'ah only when you finish the harvesting. Why is it then that Rabbi Shimon went and he said that it's like a different reason? It's always because of this reason, okay? That basically you're always going to leave it to the end of the reaping, and that's when you're going to leave the pe'ah. So Amar Rabba says, no, you're right. It's because of the Ramaim, because of the cheaters. What do you mean the cheaters? It says when you're going to bring the Lashon of the Pasuk, Rabbi Shimon was coming and bringing you another reason. What was the other reason? Shelo yuchlu Ramaim, so these cheating people shouldn't come and they're going to be over on the Mitzav Bal Techale. They're going to take everything and then they're going to lie and they're going to say that they already put it beforehand. Meaning all of a sudden they're going to take away everything. Like all of a sudden, people that are name are going to come and say, well, where's your pe'ah? Oh, no, I already gave the pe'ah. They already took everything away. So because of those cheaters, that's what we're saying, we're going to make sure that it has to be in the corner. So that way everyone knows exactly where it's going to be and they can't start, just taking everything inside. And then, no, I already took it off. Where did you take it off? No, it was right over here. And it was on the inside, right beside your house. So it's not going to help. So that's why it has to be all the way in the corner. So everyone could see it. Everyone sees it when they're passing by. Okay? We're going back again 2 dots, Kaf Gimel Mum Bet, to the Lakat Ner Chanukah. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Yitzchak bar Radifa, Amar Rav Huna, says Rav Yitzchak bar Radifa in the name of Rav Huna, he says, Ner sheyesh la shne piyot. When you have a candle that has 2 piyot, okay? Ola li shne bnei adam. So it's going to be Ole li shne bnei adam. Okay, so fine. This was the shne piyot. Is here. Let me just go back again. I'm going to share the screen with you. This is a ner sheyesh la shne piyot right here. This right here, this is one mouth, and this is another mouth. Here's where you put in the oil, and you have 1 peh here and 1 peh here. Okay, 2 different piyot. It's ner sheyesh la shne piyot. Okay, so says the Gemara, and I'm already going to take the next picture, because the next picture is mile ke'ara. Okay, so now it says here like this. So it says, Ner sheyesh la shne piyot, when you have 2 different holes on the 2 sides of the cover, okay, to put 2 different petilot. So it says over there, Ole li shne bnei adam, 2 people could do the mitzvah mehadrin, which is basically 1 for each night, according to the amount of people in the house, so they could do it one for each person, right? Amar Rava, Rava comes and he says, what happens now if you filled up a utensil with oil and then you put petilot around it? Kafa alea kli. If you put a kli on top of it, it's going to help for a few people. Lo kafa alea kli. If you didn't put a kli on top of it, it's like a medura. It's like one flame, and even for one person, it's not going to be olelo. So again, I'm going to share the screen. And sorry, not this one. It's the next candle. It's the next picture. Here it is. Okay, this is it. Mila kara shemen v'kifua petilot kafa alea kli ole lekama bnei adam. So this again. Here is the kara shemen, and this is the kli. This part you see here, this is the oil which is uncovered. This is now that they put a kli on top of it. So if you put a kli on top of it, so therefore what happens is it could even ole lekama bnei adam. But here I have all the different candles like this. However, though im lo kafa alea kli asaka min medura, so therefore it's going to be like a torch. Why? Because they're all together. And since it's all together, it's like one torch. Okay, now the Ran is going to say that you need an etzba between. Sorry, you need an etzba in between each one. That's what it says over here. That's the etzba, one finger in between each space between each one. Okay, so this is the cases again. So one more time, let's read the Gemara. The Gemara says, right? Amar Rava, if you right now you came and you put the mispar petilot in the sfat kiara misaviv, so you put the amount of petilot on the edge of the kiara. Okay, so if right now beforehand you already put a kli, okay, which means that it stops the candles from joining together. Since you have a utensil stopping it, so each one is a separate candle. So then what happens is it's going to count according to the amount of the petilot. Okay. However, though, if you weren't kafe ala kli, so then you made it like a medura because each one is going to become attached to each other, and therefore even to one person it's not going to help because it's going to be considered like a torch. Okay. Okay, fine. Now it says over here, and the footnote is where he brings down the Ran. That footnote he brings down the Baraitul Mubabaran that you need an etzba in between. So that was a picture underneath. Okay, so Amar Rava comes and he says, Pshita li ner beto v'ner Chanukah, ner beto adif. When you have a choice between ner Shabbat or ner Chanukah, for example, a person is mamash anani, and he has a choice either between ner Chanukah or ner beto, for sure, ner beto is better. The right why? Mishum shalom beto, because of shalom bayit, which means people are going to be mitztarim when you sit in the darkness. So since people become very depressed when you're going to be in the dark, so therefore ner the bayit, shalom bayit comes first, and the nerot chanukah is because of shalom bayit. Okay, so that comes before ner chanukah. Next, ner beto v'kiddush hayom. What happens if you have money either for the nerot Shabbat or because of kiddush hayom? Kiddush hayom is for the kiddush. So it says ner beto adif. Right? Why? Because again, because of shalom beto, you have shalom bayit. And then what's okay? Fine. He's going to say, how could it be? Nerot of Shabbat is only midrabanan. Kiddush hayom is min Torah. So how could it push it off? So they answer no. That also it's not me'akev because you could have already been in the chovah with the bread, or you could have said it in the Friday night, tefillah, and so on and so forth. So therefore, you got out of the doraita. It's also only going to be drabanan. Okay. So by Rava now is going to ask the question. Ner Chanukah v'kiddush hayom mahu. Because remember, shalom bayit always comes before everything else. So the shalom bayit, because of the nerot Shabbat, is going to come before ner Chanukah, and in a separate case, it's going to come before kiddush hayom. Now I'm going to take the other two cases that were pushed off. Kiddush hayom was pushed off because of shalom bayit, and nerot Chanukah was pushed off because of shalom bayit. So what's going to happen now in this case? Do we say which one takes precedence? Is it ner Chanukah or kiddush hayom? Mau. So says the Gemara, kiddush hayom is better. Why? Tadir v'shedo tadir, tadir kodem. Or dilna, or maybe I'm going to say no. Ner Chanukah is adif. Mishum persu menesa, but it's going to be mefarse menesa. I'm going to publicize the miracle. So what's more important? The tadir is something which is constant, and obviously there's more Shabbatot, right, of kiddush, right? Even if you're just going to say because of the 52 Shabbatot, that is already enough. Besides the fact that there's also kiddush in the morning, but forget about the morning and Avdalah and all the rest. Just the concept of kiddush yom even of the nighttime, right? He says or ner Chanukah is better. So Batar the Abaya, after the question on the Pasha, they answered it. Ner Chanukah is adif because of Pirsum Nisa. So in order to publicize the miracle, right, it's more important. So therefore, you should actually do that. You should do the Ner Chanukah more than the Kiddush Hayom. Amar Ravuna. Ravuna says, it's a beautiful Gemara. It says ragil b'ner, if somebody is going to be ragil in ner, whether it's the ner of Shabbat or ner Chanukah, he's going to have children which are going to be Talmidei Chachamim. Okay, why? Because it says ki ner mitzvah v'torah or, says Rashi, that when you're going to fulfill the mitzvah of ner, whether it's ner Shabbat and ner Chanukah, so you're going to have Torah or, you're going to have children who are Talmidei Chachamim. Okay, now if you realize it said haragil. Everyone, I don't remember now, but I remember somebody speaks about why does it say haragil b'ner. Okay, then it says hazahir. Now we're not saying haragil. Here we're saying somebody that's careful in a mezuzah. Zochel ledirana. He's going to be zochet to a beautiful house. Okay, if he's going to be very zahir in the mitzvah of, here it is, it's a marsha. The marsha says, why to do with the ner, we say haragil, and by mezuzah we said hazahir. So he says, also by tzitzit and kiddush, we said hazahir. So he explains because the man is incumbent upon all these mitzvot more than the woman. So therefore he's actually mekayem et zeh before. And therefore he has to be lizaher, he has to be very, very careful. However, though, to do it halakan and chanukah, the man is not commanded to do it because the mitzvah is the woman, that she's the one that's lighting it. So therefore the man has to be ragil, which means he has to be margil tishto b'mitzvah. So he has to accustom his wife in this mitzvah. So that's why it's written haragil, lehargilota, right? To get her accustomed to it. That is the mitzvah over here. Okay, azahir b'mezuzah. So that's why it's written by the mezuzah, tzitzit and kiddush. It's the man. So there it's hazahir. You have to be careful in it. But by the ner, since she's the one that's doing it, you have to be margilota lasot. You have to accustom her to do such a thing. Okay, next hazahir b'tzitzit. Somebody that's going to be zahir b'tzitzit, zochelet alina. He's going to have a beautiful clothing. Hazahir beKiddush Hayom, if you're going to be careful with Kiddush Hayom. Here it's the Kiddush Hayom is Kiddush of Shabbat morning. And it says here because it's something to do with wine, which means a lot of people come and they try to use beer, right? Not try to use beer, meaning beer, and that's it. No, the mitzvah is dafka mitzvah min to use wine. So a person should always try to use wine for the Kiddush Hayom. So he says, Zocheh umemale garbe yain. He's going to have tons of wine, right? If he's going to be careful with Kiddush Hayom. So those, again, one more time, three things you have to be careful. You have to be careful with: the mezuzah, tzitzit, and kiddush. And one thing you have to be ragil is the ner. Okay, and each one was a different, different reward as well, like midah keneged midah. Ravuna varagil davi chalek v'tanya pitcha de Rabbi Yavin nagara. Ravuna was always ragil to always pass by the entrance of Rabbi Yavin and nagar. He used to be like a carpenter. He used to take care of wood, pieces of wood. He always saw that he was very, very careful in the Norot of Shabbat and Norot of Chanukah. Amar, he says, why? Because of the two different halakot, Rabbi Yavin was ragil bahem. Right? Obviously, it says over here, whether it's two different halakot, what does that mean? Whether it's of the Shabbat or the Chanukah. So it says, Naft Minayu, so who were the two Talmidei Chachamim that came out, Rabbi Yavin and his wife? Rav Idi Baravin, Rav Chia Baravin. These were the two Talmidei Chachamim that came out because they were so cautious and so careful in the mitzvot of Chanukah and of Shabbat. Rav Chasta, Ragil Lavichal V'tanya Pitcha Ben Nanasha, Rav Shizbi. Rav Chasta always used to pass by the entrance of the father of Rav Shizbi. Okay, so it says over here, or the father-in-law. Okay, it's either the father's house or the father-in-law. Okay. So it says over here, he saw that he was very careful in the mitzvot of Nerot Chanukah, Nerot of the Nerot. So Amar, he said, somebody is great, he's going to come out from here. Who is it? Rav Shizbi himself came out from there. Okay? The Vitud Rav Yosef have a ma'acher amadakat la. So the wife of Rav Yosef, she used to be me'acheret, and she used to light the candles right by the Shkia time. So don't think that this actually only happens nowadays. It's already happened from a long time ago. They used to light mamash right before the Shkia. So Amala Rav Yosef came and he told her, Tanya, we learned in a bright and natural, lo yemisha muda anan yomam, ve'muda esh laila, ifnei ha'am. What does that mean? This is an extra pasuk, because the pasuk beforehand already told us that Hashem olech lifnei yomam ve'amud anan l'chotam aderech laila ve'amud esh lailaim l'lech yomam laila. The Torah already told us in the previous pasuk that HaKadosh Baruch Hu always used to come in front of Bnei Yisrael during the day with amud anan, with the clouds of glory in order to direct them, and in the nighttime with a amud esh, with a pillar of fire, in order to lighten, that they should have illumination, in order to go during the day and the night. Melamed, she'amud anan mashlim amud esh, amud esh mashlim amud anan. That each one was always mashlim, which means that the second one, So the Katuv Sheni, the second pasuk is teaching us that the Amud Sheni, the Amud Ha'esh used to come before the Amud Anan used to go. And the Amud Anan used to come before the Amud Ha'esh used to go in the morning, which means it wasn't that it used to leave at the same time. There was always one, always there before the other one actually left. So he says, right? So from here we learn, right, the exact same thing. This is the proper way to do it, which means before the proper time, that's when you're already supposed to have the lights lit. Because just like over there, right, it wasn't like one is leaving and now one's coming. The other one was already there. He was already waiting. He was there already ready. So the same thing. So Sabra Laktuma. So the wife of Yosef then thought, okay, after my husband just told me that, so I'm going to start lighting it right from one extreme to the other extreme. I'm going to start lighting it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Amalahu Saba, there was a Zaken Echad. Okay, Totzot always says that this is always a Lianovi. And the Saba came and he told the wife, Tanina, we already learned it. You shouldn't do it too early and not too late. Which means you shouldn't do it too early, because again, if you're doing it too early, it's not nikar that you're doing it for Shabbat. If you're going to start lighting a candle at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to tell me you're doing it for Shabbat. It's not recognizable. However, though and also not leyacher yotemidai also, right, until the end of the time, because of this as well. Right? So that means you shouldn't do it too late and not too early. So Amar Rava comes and he says, Derachim Rabbanan. Listen to this Gemara, beautiful Gemara. Derachim Rabbanan havu lebenin Rabbanan. Somebody that loves Talmidei Chachamim, he's going to have children that are Talmidei Chachamim. 26. Why? Because since he loves Talmidei Chachamim, it's like his children. And therefore, he's going to be Zocher, that his children will also be Talmidei Chachamim, Midah Keneged Midah. So if you love Rabbanim, your children will become Rabbanim. However, though, Demokir Rabbanan, if you're only going to come and you're going to be Demokir, which means you're going to be Mechabed Rabbanan, where here the Gaon says the Dachil Rabbanan. You're afraid of the rabbis. So it's either because you're afraid or because you're mechabedotam, you respect them. It's not that you love them. You only respect them or you fear them. Okay, two different yourself in the Gemara. Then you're going to have chatanim rabbanan. You're going to be mechabedotam, you're going to have chatanim, right, rabbanan. The dachim rabbanan, they're going to be afraid from rabbanan. So it says here, if somebody's going to be mechabedotam, it's not kashur, right, le Torah in the same way, just like when you love them. So therefore, you're not going to have it. It's going to be completely attached to you that your children are going to be Talmidei Chachamim. But since you are mechabedotam, so therefore you're going to be mechubam min Torah, and therefore your chatanim will be, which that's also a kavod. Your son-in-laws will be people that are learning Torah. So therefore, you're going to have the zechut that your son-in-laws are going to be Talmidei Chachamim as well, right? But not your children themselves. Okay. So he says, "Hu gufei avitzur b'Rabbanan." Somebody that's fearing because of Talmidei Chachamim, he himself is like considered a Talmid of the Rabbanan. But if he's not fitting for that, which is not fitting for learning Torah, still his words are going to be listened to just like a Tzur Rabbanan, which means that at the end of the day, it's going to be like a Tzur Rabbanan, even though he himself is not. So this is something incredible concept that I remember hearing. I don't remember from where did I hear this chidush. I think it's probably Pashut. But the concept was that when you love Talmidei Chachamim so much, what happens is that your children come and they say, if my father loves this is what's so important for him, so for this is what I also want to become as well. And therefore it leads by example that that's what's going to happen, that your children themselves are going to yearn to become Talmidei Chachamim, and that's why that's what's going to happen, that your own children are going to become Talmidei Chachamim. But if it's not that you love them so much, it's just, okay, you're mechabedotam, or you're going to come and you're going to fear them. Okay, so your children are going to say, okay, fine, rabbis, you always, you either fear them or you respect them, but no more than that. So, okay, fine. So you're going to be, they don't want that the connection or that love that's going to be there. So therefore, it's okay. Right? Because remember, the children are always yearning for the love. Fine. Then it says, and we're going back to the two dots. This is going back to the Mishnah, where the Mishnah said, "V'lo b'shemen serefa." You're not supposed to light with shemen serefa. What is shemen serefa? Okay, this is talking about on Shabbat. You're not allowed to light with shemen serefa. What is the oil which is shemen serefa? Amar Rabba says, shemen shel truman shenitmeah. You're not allowed to light with oil of shemen truma, that became tameh. Remember, truma of tameh, you have to burn it. So, but you're not allowed to light with that oil, meaning that even though I'm burning it, I'm doing what it's supposed to be doing, I cannot use that oil. So it says the Gemara, why is it called shemen serefa? Because it's supposed to be burnt, which means any type of truma tmeah, you're supposed to burn it. So here, right, I'm going to burn this. So he says, so why can't I come and burn it then? Why can't I use it? Since there's a mitzvah to destroy, to completely consume this oil, Gezerah shemayeteh, there's a gezerah. Since I want to burn it so quickly, maybe I'm going to turn the candle in order to get rid of all the oil. And therefore, I'm going to be over on the Yisur of Shabbat, of burning, of making a flame. That means the exact opposite. Before, it was maybe I'm going to turn the candle or do the things I could read or so I could do different things. Here, it's exact opposite. I have a mitzvah to burn this oil. Since I have a mitzvah to burn the oil, I want to get rid of it so quickly. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start tilting the candle and everything in order to draw all the oil to burn the oil. So therefore, it's going to be asur, gezerah. Amalei Abaye comes and he says, Elamiata, now according to you, Yom Tov Lishteh should be permitted on Yom Tov. Why? Even if I'm going to come and tilt the candle on Yom Tov, I'm allowed to have a fire on Yom Tov. I'm not allowed to make a new fire. But if the fire is already there, I'm allowed to do that. So what's the problem? So why do we say instead of Yom Tov? You're also not allowed to use it on Yom Tov as well. So answers the Gemara, Yom Tov to Shabbat. No, it's a decree for Yom Tov because of Shabbat, which means if I permitted you to use it on Yom Tov, then you might use it on Shabbat as well. So therefore, also on Yom Tov, you're not allowed to use it, just like on Shabbat, you're not allowed to use it. So Rav Chasta comes and he says, L'shema yateh lo chayshinan. We don't suspect l'shema yateh to do with this oil that we're going to suspect that maybe you're going to tilt it in order that the oil will burn quicker, right? So therefore, you should be permitted to use it on Shabbat, Erev Shabbat. Here we're talking about Yom Tov on Erev Shabbat. Meaning if Yom Tov comes out on Erev Shabbat, then we're going to come and tell you that the Lakan Erev Shabbat is going to be done with Yom Tov, and therefore what's going to happen is it's going to be asur to use Shemen Srefah, which means on a Shabbat by itself, according to the Shita Rav Chasta, you're allowed to use Shemen Srefah. We're going to suspect you're going to tilt it in order to get rid of the oil quicker. We don't suspect that. So you're allowed to. So why does it say in Ema Likim Shemen Srefah Yom Tov? We're talking about Yom Tov that comes out on Shabbat. So you're lighting the candles of Yom Tov and Shabbat together. Now when you're lighting the candles of Yom Tov and Shabbat together, it's written you're not allowed to burn kochim on Yom Tov. Which means even though you're allowed to come and you're allowed to make different foods, you're not allowed to burn kochim on Yom Tov. This is kochim. This is something which kochim became disqualified. You're not allowed to burn it on Yom Tov. So that's why you're not allowed to do it. Because it's talking about Yom Tov that came out on Shabbat, and that's why you're not allowed to do so. So says the Gemara, 1 second. The Hamadikali Seifa, that which the Seifa comes in, it says in the last Mishnah in Kabbalah the Mubet, which we're going to learn tomorrow. It says Ema Likim Shem instead of Yom Tov. You're not allowed to light from Shem instead of Yom Tov. It's mashma that in the ratio we weren't talking about Yom Tov. So when you said that you're not allowed to light the Lo Ema Likim Shem instead of there was talking about Shabbat, and then tomorrow's Daf, Kabbalah the Mubet, which is another Mishnah, is talking about Yom Tov. Mikal the ratio of Yom Tov Askina. So says the Gemara, Marav Chanina Misura, Sarv Chanina Misura. Matam Kamar. It was only explaining the reason, which means Matam Malikim Shem Yom Tov. What's the reasoning why the second Mishnah is explaining the reason of the first Mishnah? What's the reasoning why you're not allowed to be lighting with the Shem instead of Yom Tov? If you shouldn't sorting Kochim Yom Tov, you're not allowed to light Kochim Yom Tov. The Tanya Kavated Rav Chasta, one Kavated the Mudal, which is just until the 2 dots. It says Tanya Kavated Rav Chasta. We learned to write in according to Rav Chasta. Kol Elu Shamru, all the Shemanim and the Ptilot, all the oils and the wicks, which they said, Em Malikim B'Hem Shabbat, you're not allowed to light on Shabbat. Malikim B'Hem Yom Tov, you're allowed to use on Yom Tov, except for Shemen Srefah. If you shen Sofim Kochim Yom Tov, you're not allowed to light Kochim in Yom Tov. So therefore, this is a proof to Rav Chasta that also you're not allowed to light candles on Yom Tov. Now, Tosfot is going to ask a very simple question, that this Gemara is writing it as a proof to Rav Chasta, but opposite. If you're going to be Medayek in the Raita, it's a proof against Rav Chasta as well. Because it says, Em Malikim B'Hem B'Shabbat. Now you're not allowed to light it on Shabbat as well. And according to Rav Chasta, you were allowed to light it on Shabbat. We're not going to suspect that you're going to tilt it in order to burn the kochim quicker, the truma quicker. So therefore, this is a stida against him. Okay, so they come and they answer something else that all the shemanim that you're not going to light them on Shabbat, you're going to light them on Yom Tov, and anything which could. So there's a whole thing over here. But if you want, you can look in the footnote. He has it over there. But just says, it was a question that just shot out, right? Even without even looking. You already could ask that question. Fine. So Be'ezrat Hashem, we will continue tomorrow